What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo, and we are back for another episode of the Hacksaw Hour. And, of course, I'm joined by the man himself, WWE Hall of Famer, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. What's going on, Jim?
Well, doing pretty good, Marcus. Thanks very much, man. Things are going pretty smooth, but you know where I'm filming today's show at?
Where's that?
I'm at home.
Oh,
you can get a hole in there anyway. Sometimes you gotta work at finding a hole, I'll tell you. But I gotta get the flair joke in. Woo! Rick, how was your flight? Woo! Rick, how's your lunch? Woo! Rick, woo, woo, woo. I'm like, Rick, are your trunks too tight or what? Jesus, brother. But I was ready to go. I know we were talking before the show, but I was chomping at the bit, Marcus. I'm ready to go. How about them I'm over on this side. SMU Mustangs, brother.
They're kicking some ass,
The Mustangs are on top of the ACC, man, and they may go like 10, 11, and 1 if they keep going like they are. So everybody's proud. It's like everybody's a Detroit Lions fan. I was just up in Detroit for the Motor City ComicCon, and everybody's got a Detroit hat on. A couple of years ago, you couldn't find a Lions fan on. Oh, yeah, I've been a fan for years. Yeah. You didn't just jump on. No.
They got a little more reason.
Packer jacket you have on. Oh, no. You get heat up there saying that Packer jacket and stuff.
Now,
since I've talked to you, though, what a great trip we had. We went to New Orleans this past weekend for Witch's Brew Ghost Tours. Ghost Tours. People thought I was part of the tour. They're like, oh. I'm like, no. Like, holy shit, wow, look at this. Oh, yeah. He's still around. I thought he was a ghost. That's when every time I see Jake, I go over and I check his pulse. Good, buddy. Yeah. Still going, brother. You never can tell. But we're at Witch's Brew Ghost Tours. We're in a nice little cobblestone alleyway right across from the deal, and had a nice dinner. It was they really showed us a good time down there in New Orleans, man. And this week we're heading up to Mohegan Sun Casino up in Connecticut. So we're going to fly up and see my buddy Marty up in Massachusetts. He's the one that's got all the collection and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll visit with him, and then we're going to do the Mohegan Sun Casino. I'm not much of a gambler, brother. Because some of the guys were. Jake likes to gamble. Knobs enjoyed gambling. Yeah, I was like, poker face. I was like, yes. Oh shit. I could play cards, yeah, but it'll be good to go up there. It should be a good. I think it's a sports card convention.
Oh, okay.
So it's amazing how many people are enjoying the cards. As the cards, especially my rookie card. They call it a rookie card. You can tell because it has me listed from New York City. I went to New York City twice with the Columbia Squires back in the day. Went down and watched the NIT. That's the closest I came to New York City. But like, yeah, you're from New York City. I'm like, yeah, that'll go.
Now that rookie card, that's the one. That's the all-star wrestling card. It's like kind of a close-up of your face, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, I know you've been helping me on this with my Facebook.
Yes.
Somehow my Facebook got shut down. 170,000 followers just got shut out completely. I've been calling everybody. I just talked to Jimmy Hart, and I'm seeing if somebody up in the company, the WWE, might be able to help me because I'm not controversial at all. I don't put nothing out there, and somehow, and a lot of folks are just like, "What happened?" I can't tell them I've been, unpublished is the term they use. But right. People are like, are you dead? You just dropped off the face of the earth. What happened to you, man? So I'm going to get it another week or so. And then, Marcus, you and me, we're going to start another Facebook. Everybody will start a new Facebook. My Instagram's doing good. We got to work on the X a little bit,
The X is there, and you can follow Jim. Yeah. It's actually right below him. It's at Real Hacksaw Jim on X, so you can see that if you're watching us here on YouTube. So go out of your way to go follow him there. He's got about 15,000 followers and growing over there on X.
Well, and see, that's another deal. Back when it was Twitter, I had 300,000. Somebody shut me down, man. Speaking of getting shut down, brother, Dun, 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 dun,
What?
dun, dun,
Look at
dun, dun,
that.
dun, dun.
Look
I
at
tell you
that.
what, though, you look at this gun, you think it's a powerful son of a gun.
Mm-hmm.
It's an air rifle.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a single break air rifle, man.
Wow. It looked like a badass rifle, like a hunting rifle.
Yeah, just an air rifle. I know. So you can't judge a book by its cover. People see that and like, oh my gosh. Well, you know what I do? Because I'm on my porch. I set balloons out on my pond, and they drift around. I got my air rifle.
Oh, cool. It keeps you sharp out there with your
Gotta
sharpshooter
gotta
skills.
watch out for my ducks. They're like this, you know. Whack! That's
You
not a
gotta
white
remind 'em.
balloon.
You gotta remind them. Keep it in line out there, ducks.
But I'm
Uh,
sure we got to go to work, Marcus. I can't tell you more stories. Let's see. What do we do? Are we doing anything mailbagger today, or what do we got?
oh, we're doing something really special, Jim, because today, well, not today, this week is the
Hey, all
30.
right. Hey. Oh, and
This
then that's
week,
really special, brother. I don't know. I know you and Deborah are close, but come on, man.
it's not today. It is this week is the 35-year anniversary of Survivor Series 1989, and your team, the 4x4s, going to work there. So that is what we're going to be talking about this week. Before we get into it, though, folks, I do want to remind everybody that you've got to go check out the Hacksaw Duggan Highlights YouTube page. You were telling me that your daughter Celia's got that set up over there, and all kinds of great
Oh,
footage.
God, it's great. It's Hacksaw Duggan highlights, and it's all the Mid South. When I come in, as Skandar Akbar brings me in as an assassin, where I got my fur and chains on it, and I evolve where I'm the bad guy with DiBiase and Matt Bourne in the Rat Pack, and then I evolve after Junkyard Dog leaves to the top babyface in Mid South. I mean, it's some great stuff. We were just talking about when Skandar threw the fire in my face.
So cool.
And you can't believe the fireball. It was this huge fireball. I'm looking at, holy, how the hell they talked me into that back in the day, you know? But we'll talk about that later on, man. There's all kinds of Mid-South stuff. There's great stuff. Hacksaw Duggan highlights. There's a Hacksaw Jim Duggan highlights. That ain't it. Hacksaw Duggan highlights. You know, which is usually a joke. My highlights is about that long. Usually, yay.
Get over there, check it out.
But
Hacksaw
no,
Duggan Highlights.
Celia put all that stuff together. And if you're a Mid South fan, if you're a studio wrestling fan, it is so great. The fans are almost coming in the ring. There's not a whole lot of them there because it's usually in a studio setting. And it brings back a lot of memories. It's fun to watch. And I
Man,
used to fly around quite a bit back then, too. I'm like, holy smoke, what the hell?
you
I
were out there
wonder why
throwing
I'm all
down.
broke to pieces, you know?
Hacksaw Duggan highlights on YouTube. And by the way, folks, that story of Jim getting burned with the fireball, which of course leads into the big angle where he's got like the eye patch on and all that stuff. Next year marks the 40-year anniversary of all that happening, and we will be covering it here on the Hacksaw Hour in 2025. So stay tuned for that. But for right now, let's go ahead and talk about 1989 in the WWF. And Jim, before we get into what was going on with you, we'll talk a little bit about what was happening in the company at this time. A couple new arrivals at the time. One of them is Big Fred Ottman. He's coming in under the name Tugboat Thomas, which will soon be shortened to just Tugboat. He'd made a name for himself in Florida as Big Steel Man, and now he's here dressed up as a sailor, and he's going toot toot in all of his matches. Jim, what do you think of this creative?
Well, you know, I know Fred, and he's a really good guy. Actually, he's one of the first people, him and his wife, we left our daughters with to babysit
Oh,
way
really?
back in the day. So I know Fred pretty well, and he's an impressive, tough man. And they put that gimmick on him, but he went ahead and went with the gimmick again, like One Man Gang did with Akeem. Tugboat said, "Yeah, okay, put me on TV. I'll do the toot toot. I'll make it work." You know, and he got it that toot toot. It had the place going toot toot. You know, where again Terry Taylor, he hated the Red Rooster. He did it half-ass. It didn't work. Tugboat embraced it, and you know, he did a good job with it. I thought they could have used. I thought he was more impressive with him and Earthquake as the national disasters. But
Yeah,
That's
they
why
kind
I'm
of
not
did
in
a
Stanford, though.
they did a big correct course on that a few years later. But yeah, I don't know. Like you see a guy that with that kind of size, like and not everybody's walking around looking like Fred Ottman. It's just weird to me that Vince is like, let's make him a sailor. It's like,
Make him
wow,
a
okay.
sailor man. Yeah, well, I mean, Doink the Clown, Gobbledygook. Vince was not afraid to try stuff back in the day. But you think you had a talent like that, or even my good friend who I just recently saw, the Godfather or Papa Shango.
Yep.
Papa was saying, yeah, he told him to watch that James Bond movie. Vince told him to watch the James Bond movie with a voodoo guy in it. And that's what he wanted because Papa's a handsome young guy. He says, we got to paint your face or something, buddy. So they put that voodoo thing on him. And, so he'll try stuff. What, he beat the Warrior guy going like this. Yeah.
Right. And the warrior like
Warriors.
threw up or something.
Yeah, right. A lot
I
of
don't know.
folks threw up during Warriors match.
So he was just getting him back for everybody having to watch
Yeah,
Warriors
right.
match.
Yeah. He just started early.
Another name coming in. We actually just said his name. It's Earthquake. He's coming into the company at this time. Kind of ironic. Both natural disasters coming in.
Yeah, right.
Man, this guy, former sumo wrestler, legit badass. Apparently, a pretty nice human being though outside the ring. What do you think of John Tenta?
Yeah, I got along good with John too. We worked well together. I enjoyed being a relatively, size is all relative. You stand next to Rey Mysterio or you stand next to the Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
Depends who you stand next to. So as a relative, I wrestled probably 275 most of my career. So to be wrestling a guy like Earthquake, a big monster of a guy, it was much easier to get sympathy. You're wrestling Shawn Michaels and he's beating you up. That people are like, well, punch him back, Hacksaw. You got Big Earthquake working you over, man, and he had Jimmy with him a lot, man, and I really got along with Jimmy. So the more to add to the show, I like managers, I like valets, I like the referees. The more the mix, the better, and so I like having Jimmy out there. But one time in particular, we were doing something, and I was working with Quaker, and we set up like a double slam, and for the finish. And he slammed me once, and I set up for the finish. He said, "No, second slam." I forgot about it. He didn't forget about it. I took the first slam. Like, okay, let's go to the finish. He's like, "No, second slam." I'm
Guess you
like,
gotta
"Okay,
listen to that
Quaker.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
whatever.
Quaker. Go ahead, big guy." But yeah, we had a good rapport, man. And he do that big hopping around the ring. And man, because the ring gives, you'd be bouncing around there, bing and bing and bing. And it is kind of a huge eclipse, him and Yokozuna and guys like that. Their big, huge ass. It covers the whole arena, I'm used to seeing the lights in most arenas. Oh, I must be in White Plains. But all
You
of a
get
sudden, it's like this huge eclipse, a giant crack in it. And it's coming at you very fast. And all of a sudden, you're a human suppository.
Man, you gotta have a lot of faith in a guy that size dropping his giant ass on you in the ring, right?
Yeah, I know, no shit. Even I told you the story, Mabel, and then I'm like, yeah, because Big Mabel was another one. He eclipsed the sun, and yeah, you got to have a lot of trust in your guy's not your opponent; he's your partner,
Mm-hmm.
and you're out there together, and you want to put on a good show, and that's why people, well, what's your record? Yeah, it's not quite the idea, buddy. But yeah, so you got to really trust your partner.
Apparently, John had only been in wrestling for like a handful of years. Like he looks like he's in his 40s at this time, but he's only in his 20s, and I want to say it's like early to mid
Yeah.
20s too. So
Oh, that's what wrestling does to you, man. Holy smokes. Jeez. I'm only 30 myself. Look at me. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a rough business, and it did age some people, man. It took its toll on Big John. Mongo McMichaels, God bless Mongo, going through all his stuff,
My
He's
goodness.
with Deborah for all those years in the NFL. Him and Deborah are in love and dang it a boom. Couple of years in wrestling, they're divorced, doing drugs, partying hard. Welcome to the business. Woo!
Yeah, not for everybody,
Ding
not for the
ding
faint of heart.
ding.
Um, so
Yeah.
the Rougeaus and the Brainbusters are both going to give their notice at this time, and according to the Observer, Vince may have been feeling a little bit of the pinch as a result of this. We've got this report from the Observer. Vince McMahon had personal meetings this past week with both Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage to make sure that the key stars aren't considering making a move. Actually, neither of those names had even been mentioned by anyone, although either would be a key acquisition. I'd figure Hogan would be impossible to get. Savage would be very hard because he's got long-term plans here, but money talks and never say never. So, Jim, I read all that to you to say, this is a really interesting time in the world of wrestling because there's some big changes happening. Vince, he's pretty unmatched when it comes to ratings at this point, but now he's got to contend with the very deep pockets of Ted Turner. It's not the Crockett's anymore. Ted Turner's running the show down there. So I know that you were happy with your spot in the WWF, but was there ever a thought in your mind that, hey, maybe the grass and the money could be a little bit greener in the NWA?
Not at that point. Later on down the road, yes, but right there in the beginning, the WW, New York, New York. You can make it there. You can make it anywhere. And I figured if that came down the road, I could make the move. But why not? Why jump off the ship when the sailing's going pretty smooth?
That's it too. I think that you were really well positioned there with Vince. And gosh, everybody says that, you'll go from a territory like Mid South or WCW or Georgia or wherever. And once you get up to Vince's TV, it's this big machine, right? It's
Oh
run like
yeah, I
no
mean,
other.
look, Mid South, we were doing Superdome shows. I
Hmm.
mean, we did some big shows, Texas Stadium shows for Von Erichs and stuff. You go up to New York. My first time up to New York, it's a whole different level. I mean, first off, there's hundreds of fans already lined up with their signs and stuff, waiting to see the boys come in. You got security at the gate. You got to make sure they got to check you through security. You get in there, there's all these TV trucks, satellite trucks, all these 18 wheelers, all painted up WWF, all these private buses everywhere, limousine here and there. I mean, and then you go in, it's the WWF. I mean, it was a shock. No matter coming out of Mid South, which, like I said, I was main event with Teddy at the Superdome, and we had the place rocking. Still, you walk in that first time in the Mid South, you're like, shit, or excuse me, in the WWF. It's a little bit of a culture shock.
The big
It's the big
leagues.
leagues, yeah, which I like to say, caps and sleeves. I mean, you make it there, you can make it anywhere, and to be part of New York. And I'm from New York. It was a big move to go up there because I had a good deal in Mid South. The
Yeah.
WrestleMania 1, Junkyard Dog went up for WrestleMania 1, and that bumped me to the top babyface spot in Mid South. So Bill was paying me pretty good to keep me in Mid South, but Jake went up for WrestleMania 2. Jake called me his brother. This is the place to be. That's when the action figures were just coming out, the first round of LJN. So I went up for WrestleMania 3. And I always said, DiBiase's down in Mid South. He goes, I can't go to New York. Junkyard Dog, Jake the Snake, Hacksaw Dog, and I'm Ted DiBiase. Of course, Ted goes up, gets the $1 Million Man gimmick. He's flying around. He's got Virgil driving his limo. He had the last laugh on everybody.
Man, when I know Ted's your buddy, but when he comes up and it's like he's sort of the new kid in town, but it's like, hey, Vince is giving you a stipend so that you can, buy whatever you want while you're out on the road and flash your money around. Vince is also giving you a private limousine. You're also getting 5-star hotels. Like when you're seeing that, are you like, hey, come on, what the hell? Are you happy for Ted? Like, yeah, good for him.
Well, you can't help but be envious.
Hmm.
People, are you jealous? You jealous of Ted? I'm like, no, but yeah, I am envious. I wouldn't mind that myself, but I'm having a good run where I'm at, and so you got to be happy. You always work to do better, but yeah, I wasn't looking for that. It'd been nice to have first class because a lot of guys got first class. I
Yeah.
was the only guy to get first class, so but
Yeah.
after a while, you fly so much, he automatically got upgraded. You know, I've got 6 million frequent flyer miles
Oh my gosh.
documented, not counting Southwest and all the other little things I've flown. But yeah, so a lot of flying. So you got high levels on the frequent flyer list. But a good segue talking about flying. Ronnie Garvin, a member of the 4x4s, brother.
Yes, yes, exactly. And boy, do I have some questions for you when it comes to Ronnie. Now, before we get there, I do want to mention that around this period, you guys are also going to make a trip to Europe to do a quick tour over there.
Oh yeah.
And while you're there, Coco Beware is going to get fired for an apparent brawl in Brussels during a tour of Europe with WWF executive and former hockey player Jim Troy. Jim, you were
Jim
there in
Troy.
Brussels that night. Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly was, man. I certainly was, man. That wasn't all that happened that night. That was quite a night. The company got banned from Brussels. We
What
got thrown
happened?
out of Brussels, and we couldn't get back into Brussels. No, everybody's partying. Andre was out partying. Everybody was partying that night. And Jim Troy, who, like you said, was a hockey player, had a little chip on his shoulder. And Coco's pretty scrappy, man. You know, Coco can go. And boom, boom. And of course, Jim Troy was so drunk, Dever could have kicked his ass that night. But anyway, they have a pretty good scuffle in the bar, you know, and all the boys are there. Everybody's there. And so, you know, they let them go for a little while because, you know, they're going to fight. Go ahead and fight. Shit. Get it out of your system. Let them fight a little bit. Finally break it up because Coco was wearing them out a little bit. They'll break it up. And so Coco goes back to the hotel. He camps out in the lobby. He's sitting there all in the taxi cab. We're in Brussels, Belgium. Everybody's polite and courteous, all dressed up, just going to the store. Coco's sitting there drunk, got a little juice coming out of his nose, sitting in the hotel lobby, just waiting for Troy to show up. Troy comes through the revolving door, bing, big, boom, off they go again, man. And of course, everybody's screaming and hollering. The front desk people, they come up and they break it up, of course. And Coco goes to his room, Troy goes to his room. So now all the boys are coming. No, now the boys haven't come in yet. So now Sean and Marty come in, and they're drunk as shit, and they can't get through on the phone. This is back in the day. I'm trying to call America. So they go down. They ended up chasing the front desk guy. They're both of them are drunk as hell. They chased their front desk guy out of the hotel. Now the boys we're sprinkling in, and it's like a riot. All these police with helmets and shit, you know. So I'm drunk. I just go up to my room, man. I pass out. You know, I wake up the next morning. I got my bag. Elevator door, ding. There's a cop eyeballing me. I mean, just burning holes with his helmet on and shit. And I'm like, well, morning. I go down. There's cops wall to wall. They walk us to the bus.
Oh my God.
It's like a gauntlet of cops. If you're walking through with your bag, get on a bus. So now we're on the bus going to the airport. And Coco's in the back, and everybody's hung over his shit. And Coco, he's juiced a little bit, but you know, you beat somebody up, your hands are all beat to shit. And he's like, I don't know. You think I'll get fired? Yes, you're going to get fired. Ain't no question about it, brother. He beat the shit out of. He was the office guy, and he worked him over pretty good. But yeah.
Do you know what Jim Troy said to incite this rage in Coco?
Oh no, it started in the bar. Yeah, so who knows? Everybody was having a good time, and I've had trouble with Coco before.
I remember you got into a little brawl. Weren't you guys overseas too?
No, we were on a bus. Or back when we had the WWF Air Force, they had about 6 King Airs, little 2-engine prop planes, and you fly when we do like 6 shows in 3 days. Oh, you just get on the little airplane. So we're on the airplanes, me, Hogan, I forget who else, Coco, and the plane gets to the runway, you know, they test the engines. They rev the engines real high in the prop planes. Hogan's like, I don't want to fly in this plane. Take me back to the whatever you call it, fixed base of operations, FBO. So we go back. I'm like, Coco, I just came back from getting canned with a Sheik. I'm like, Coco, don't get off the plane. Hogan is Hogan. He can get off the plane. We got to make the show. Don't get off the plane. Got off the fucking plane.
Oh.
So now it was a junkyard dog. It was dog with us. It was JYD. So now Coco gets back on the plane. He goes, I just talked to Vince. Vince told me Hogan can do what he wants, but the rest of you guys to get your ass on the plane and make the show. We never got off the fucking plane. I don't want no heat with Vince.
Yeah.
Don't tell me to get on the plane. I was on the fucking plane. You know, so now we're arguing. And we land wherever it was in the Northeast somewhere. They had a big, almost like city bus pick us up. And it was me and Dog was sitting across from me. I forget who else was on the plane, and Coco was in the back. And now Coco was like, you don't talk to me. I'm a street dog. You don't talk to me like that. You know, got accustomed pretty good. And now he's walking up behind me, getting closer and closer, you know. And Dog buzzes me. Dog was over because he's got a bottle.
Ooh.
Oh, fuck, he's got a bottle.
I got a counter to that.
Surprise. Yeah, I wait till he gets up pretty close behind me. I power up. I jump up behind him. I got my 2x4. I'm towering over. Coco, beware. He's got a mini bottle from the plane. I'm like, boom. I gave him a shot. I ran him up beside the bus a couple of times, you know, and sat back down. So now we get to the show, and Arnie's waiting for me. Duggan, just go. You're on, right? Go right in. So I had to go right to the show. I go in, I do my match. I come back out, and Arnie's waiting for me. He goes, Jim, Vince wants to talk to you on the phone.
Oh, no.
He was about to fight. I said, Arnie, I had to defend myself. He says, Vince wants to talk to you on the phone.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sure. So I get on the phone. Hey, Vince. I told him my situation. I said, I can't have somebody talk to me that way. I mean, I got to stand up for him. He goes, Jim, I want you to promise me you won't fight Coco. No more fighting. I said, yes, sir. Okay, Vince. You know, I just came back from getting canned. I said, yes, sir. You know, no more fighting. So I'm sitting in this when the heel baby faces had dressing rooms. So I'm sitting in there, and Coco came in. He goes, you have you, and he'd walk out. Come back in. He was drinking. This was back in the day. Yeah. And King Harley races over there. He goes, if he comes in here again, I'll kick his ass. I didn't promise Vince anything. But now Coco and I are great friends, and that was back in the day. But yeah,
everybody changes.
Yeah, you can't hold a grudge nowadays. You see somebody, it's like, oh yeah, God, good to see you. Except maybe Matt Bourne, I don't know. But you know what Matt would be doing if he was alive today, right?
What's that?
Get me out!
Were you there when Matt Bourne got into the brawl with B. Brian Blair by any chance?
No, but I heard about it. Yeah, that's why when I went after him, I went after him hard because I knew he was a dirty fighter, and he tried to get Brian's eye. But,
yeah,
but I actually beat him. Speaking of a dirty fighter, I'm the one who got my finger in his eye.
It's him before you.
Yeah, you can cut a hell of a promo with your finger in the guy's eye. Don't mess with me again. DiBiase's like, holy shit, Duggan, come on.
All right. Well, let's get to what we came here for, Jim.
No!
I know. We're getting to the main event, though. Following SummerSlam, Randy Savage is going to defeat you with the crown on the line, and he'll get some help from Sherry. So he'll be crowned the new king of the WWF as a result. Sherry gives you like a splash off the top rope at the end of this. I think maybe it was actually 2 splashes. Was Sherry?
Everybody splashes my ass. Are you kidding with me? Duggan, what was your favorite move? Taking a splash. Oh, you mean an offensive move? I don't have any of those.
Rumor has it Sherry could be a little bit stiff.
She's stiff as hell, man. Well, I'm working with her because you do the angle with Macho, you know, and I'm working with Sherry. We did a spot where Macho would hang me off the apron, Sherry'd be on the floor, my head be hanging off the apron. Sherry was supposed to come by and boom, whack me, So I'm hanging off the apron. I see Sherry coming. Macho takes the referee. Sherry swings, swing and a miss.
Oh.
You know what that means, brother? Number 2 was coming. And she's going to overcompensate. So like, she crushes me, man. Knocks my head off, So I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. I roll in, I grab Macho, goes, I didn't do it, it was Sherry. Yeah. But I got along both good with Macho and Sherry, yeah.
They were a fun pairing, man. And
if you notice, after Macho beat me, they retired the Harley Race crown, and which I don't have with me today, but the crown and cape and everything, because that was Harley's crown, So I said it was like a bushel basket. It's sitting like this on Macho Man, it might be on his shoulders. They have to cut holes in it.
Yeah, you made a big change. You like new cape, everything.
Oh shit! Yeah, well, Macho's Macho. He's ahead of his time. I mean, all those different outfits. Macho, one of the best. Yeah, they talk about that Mount Rushmore. Obviously, Macho's got to be up there.
This is interesting because it is the end of you as King Duggan here. So it started in 1989. It came to a close before the end of the year. Jim, what did you think of ending your run as King Duggan? Did you miss it?
Yeah, well, it was a good little run while it lasted, and like all good things. But it was if somebody's going to beat you for it, Macho Man, you can't gripe too bad. So I knew it couldn't last forever. That wasn't Hacksaw's deal, I don't care if I win the match, long as I win the fight, tough guy.
That's
so
right.
people say, Hacksaw, what was your favorite move? Did I kick and punch? What are you talking about? I carry a 2x4. I'm a brawler. I'm not a wrestler. Brody, Stan Hansen, Dr. Death, Terry Gordy. We brawlers, man. Pretty much the same thing we did Friday night. We did on TV.
In the honky tonk, you see the same thing on TV.
Everything's painted black. The ceiling's this high. The smoke's this high. It's a great place. How big is this room?
Well, this is, of course, going to start the feud between you and Savage. And it makes me wonder, Randy, he's got this reputation for wanting to lay out the entire match, start to finish. Jim, was that your experience when you started your rivalry with Savage?
Right in the beginning, but then we had it down, so we didn't have to. It's not like we talked it over, and it wasn't a real involved match like he would have with Ricky the Dragon or somebody like that would have all these intricate moves and stuff. Our match was pretty basic, but we still have the fans.
Yes.
And that was the main thing. But actually, me and Macho played chess. I was in my high school chess club. Macho played chess. So we played chess quite a bit, but last time we played, he won.
Oh, damn it!
Not that it bothers me. No, but in the dressing room, we didn't see a whole lot of chess being played. That's for sure.
Well,
but not that we play a lot. We just play once in a great while. But
I cheated if he beat you.
Pardon?
I said he had to have cheated if he beat you.
No, man. I gotta give Macho credit, man. Now in the ring, if it wasn't for Scary Sherry, there's no way that guy with little tiny wrist and great big muscles is going to beat Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Tough guy. Give me a hole, brother. Ho! USA!
You got me fired up, Jim. Over the course of this rivalry, you're gonna call him the little man, skinny little savage, like stuff like that.
I? All right, yeah.
Which it's
great. Macho wasn't the biggest of guys,
Yeah, he looked like he weighed maybe 200 pounds at the most.
We got all jacked up for the movie. The movie he did later in Spider-Man, I believe it was. But I believe that also was a huge cause for his heart condition also, because he took so much juice at that time. Mm-hmm. But back when I was working with him, he wasn't muscled out like that. He wasn't so gassed out. But that's what I always say. A lot of those guys have great big muscles, but little tiny fingers and wrists and hands.
Yeah, he was like lean, muscular,
And
but
one
gosh,
thing about pushing around a lot of weights.
what's that?
Weights don't fight back. Hacksaw Jim Duggan does. Here we go again,
That's
brother.
right.
Oh! We got a bunch of hoes going, man.
A
It's like
lot of
being in
those
New
today.
Orleans. That was a hell of a trip, I'll tell you.
Probably not as fun as it used to be, but still fun, I'm sure.
Was that an old timer joke?
It was before you were married joke.
Oh, good recovery though, brother.
Not bad, man. So Savage, his style very, very different from yours, and obviously he's the heel, and he's a lot smaller than you are. So Jim, what's it like working with a smaller heel like that? Like you've got to sell for him.
Well, we took advantage of Sherry.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like I was saying earlier, the more to the mix, the better. And had Sherry out there. She had a loaded person a lot of times. And I follow that formula. The baby face comes out, he shines, gets the people cut off, and hope spot, go home. And those hope spots can be involved in as long as you want, or just drop down and get it again. They're short, but that was kind of my formula. And so to get the heat, he'd lean me over the ropes, and Sherry'd hit me with a deal. Hopefully you get me the first time. And
Fingers
then I'd
crossed.
have something to sell, and Macho would come off and beat the hell out of me,
Good, easy, simple, and that honestly, that kind of stuff is what I
Yeah,
think makes a good match.
it's pro wrestling. I talked about it before. People overthink it. They're trying to give. I said, just give me a non-American.
Mm-hmm.
People want to cheer USA. And I would love to cheer USA. There's nothing more exciting than as an old timer to be standing in the ring going, USA! Can you only imagine being at the Pontiac Silverdome with 93,000 people going, USA! I mean,
Unbelievable.
have all your other intricate stuff in the other matches, but have me and the Sheik, me and Nikolai, me and Crusher Khrushchev, me and any non-American. Cuban Assassin. With me
Yeah.
and the Cuban Assassin did good business at WCW.
You did. You did. You
Yeah,
guys had a flag match there on like Saturday night or something. Like it was good
the whole
shit.
Saturday night we had the Saturday show, and we had a tenth of the budget as Thursday Night Thunder, and we were doing better numbers. I was a champion. The Jimmy Hart was producing the show. We had the Cuban Assassin working with them. It was a good little show. Thunder's like spending all this money, fireworks, laser shows. They had Glacier. They spent more on Glacier's one entrance than they paid me all year. Shit, holy Christ! Which I didn't. Really want the fireworks. I like to hear the pop. You come up. Are they cheering me or are they cheering the fireworks? I don't know. These are great fireworks.
I think for a while there, they were calling you Mr. Saturday Night because of what you guys were doing. So that's a nickname you got to trademark, Jim.
Oh, I'm sure somebody's picked that one up yet, brother. Yeah. If I lose my Facebook, I'm sure Mr. Saturday Night's got to be gone. Holy shit.
I think it's kind of good heat whenever you've got a smaller heel like that too. On the surface, a lot of people will look at that and say like, "Oh, well, Jim, she should just beat the shit out of this guy." But if Savage cheats to get you there, and then he's getting heat on you, it's like, boy, when Duggan gets up, he's gonna waffle this guy.
Yeah, and that shows hope spots. Man, boy, you're kicking ass, beating a man. He got you down. He misses an elbow. I get up, boom, boom, boom. Start beating that bing, bing, bing on top. Wait, 8, 9, 10. Throw him across, charge. He moves. Oh. Orchestrate the people. Bring him up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. Hey, hey, hey. Oh. Yeah, yeah. Boom. Pop it. Finish. 1, 2, 3.
I love that. I love that, and it's
I
such a.
don't know. That's why, of course, that's why I'm not in Stanford. Good idea, Duggan.
Well, now that I'm
This is the
working,
door here, brother.
now that I'm working and I'm working as a heel, I'm like, I like coming up with hope spots and trying to come up with ways to get that done, and that's just a
Yeah,
cool, easy, simple one. I love it.
yeah, and just easy. And like I said, guys like Dragon and people like that, Macho, Brett, Sean, those hope spots would be much more elaborate. Me, 8, 9, 10, throw you move. They'd be
Mhm.
like double this, double that, duck under this. They can be as long as you want, or relatively short. You know, mine was like boom, boom, move out of the turnbuckle.
You know, you're also getting a lot of work at this time with DiBiase. You guys are going to be doing the house shows a little bit while he's waiting for Jake to come back from his neck surgery. I mean, Savage, DiBiase, both considered two of the best of the era. Who would you say you enjoyed working with more?
Ted.
Ted.
Yeah, Ted was just more relaxed, and I knew Ted from Mid-South, and I really learned. You know, I give Ted a lot of credit. Where a lot of people take credit, I actually give Ted credit because I didn't know a whole lot till they put and Bill Watts. Bill had enough foresight to put me with Ted and as the Rat Pack so I could learn. And Matt, who was a second generation guy, he put me with two second generation guys who are always that much more polished. Ted was in the ring when he was 15, you know, hitting the ropes and stuff. I started when I was 25. So I picked up a lot from Ted. And, you know, we got along well. And Macho and I got along well, but Macho was always wound up tight, you know. What you saw on TV, that's the way Macho Man was. I tell you, we go to McDonald's, he'd be like, "Have a milkshake, fries, and a burger. Oh, yeah. Snap into it." And I'm like, Mach, take it down, brother. Take it down. It's down, Doug, and it's way down, brother. It's way, way down. I'm like, yeah. How's it going? It's going good. How's it going with you?
You know, obviously Savage is coming out here now with Sherry, which means that he's not bringing Liz out with him. And the rumor surrounding what he used to do with Liz is that he would lock her in a closet whenever she wouldn't come to the ring with him. Any truth to that, Jim?
Yeah. Nacho was extremely unsecure person in his personal life. And he was very possessive of Liz. And if she wasn't on the road with him as he left her at home, he checked the mileage on the car.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you've been 20 miles. Where the hell you been? 20 miles, you know. So he was extremely, extremely possessive. He loved her very, very much. No question. He loved her too much. I guess if you can love somebody, that made that probably a stupid statement. So I'll take that one back, man. I love you, Deborah.
Did she say it back? I didn't.
You know, she's down there working on flights for me. But yeah. Man, so he would keep track of her really, really tight. That's why I think that was one of the main reasons they broke up. And she broke his heart when they broke up. Yeah, he was devastated.
That intensity of his carries over to like his personal life and everything he did. He'd
be hard to be with. I mean, he was like that all the time. You know, I mean, probably didn't sleep much. I don't know. Liz didn't much.
Oh, and weird lifestyle.
Liz was a good woman. Her and Deborah and Sherry, because back then a whole lot of women didn't travel. Now, of course, there's a whole women's division. Back then, because Deborah traveled with me a lot, Sherry and Liz.
At this time, Jim, you're going to get some work outside of the WWF on a popular children's show, and I've actually got a clip from it. Let's have a look.
Oh, cool. That'd be good. Oh, super sloppy double dare.
And Hacksaw could go there next to Robin because inside, now we like mud wrestling over here. We have a balloon all of a sudden in there. And
this is great.
This over here is a little Hulkster doll, and we have several of these guys buried deep inside. When I say go, you have to reach down in here and try and find.
Well, look at that kid, man. Holy shit. Great. That's a little more than 275 there, too. Holy shit. That may be closer to 300, brother. That's a little big right then.
Okay.
That's when I was pushing the heavy iron, though. That's when I got that 500-pound bench.
Holy smokes!
In the lead if you can do it successfully. Good luck. This is where you want to go, Hacksaw. Right over there. On your mark.
You want to be a wrestler? Be a wrestler.
Stand in there and see if you can find it. We need to find two of them straight off. Is that it? No, that's not it. Go for the next one. Leash down in there. We're trying to find two of them. Where's the?
Trying to get my head in there. You know what?
Yes, that's one. We need to find one more.
Really got to put the whole thing over, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've done. Kurt and I did some of these too, man.
Yeah, Kurt was on this with you.
Yeah. Oh, there's just the one. Yeah, we get slimed at everything. That was a good show. Super sloppy double dare. Yeah, I did a lot of that kind of stuff with WWE because I like to have a good time. You know, they used me for a lot of PR over the years because I enjoy talking to folks. So, yeah. Yeah,
Man, it
that was
was
fun. Super sloppy double. And when they got slimed, I told them to give me a double slimy. You know, just they have a bucket, and it's applesauce. It's green applesauce.
how is it?
Yeah. And I'm
Applesauce is a
like,
good
well,
color.
all right, getting fun.
Man, really cool.
And
And I
Brody
mean,
told me years ago, if you're going to be a wrestler, be a wrestler.
you were it too. You were like, you
No,
really exaggerated everything. It was great, man. Now, this appearance, I mean, it's a really good spot for you because at the time, 1989, Nickelodeon, what a hot property that was at the time, and so
holy,
a
I
great.
can't believe how big I was. Jeez, I got up to as heavy as 312 in my career,
Do
but
you think that was it,
that was pretty big. Yeah, yeah. But,
man? I
that's hopefully worked most of the time at 275. Okay, 285.
I bet you were getting some good gains at the gym, though. Holy smokes!
Yeah, yeah. Size equaled strength back then, but I took a little gas too. I can't say I'm free of gas. You know, of course, nobody realized how bad steroids were for you back then.
Right?
You know, and they did. They made a hell of a difference. You know, of course, now I'm living with a heart condition too. So you reap what you sow. But yeah, it did make a difference.
Well, your team at Survivor Series, we're here. We're at Survivor Series, and your team is made up of Bret Hart, Hercules, and Ronnie Garvin. Jim, I know that you and Bret are buddies nowadays. Were the two of you hanging out much during these WWF days?
Oh yeah, yeah. I spent time at Brett's house up in Canada, up in Calgary, and he spent time at my house down in Florida. And yeah, I got along good with Brett. And, yeah, one time I was up at Brett's house, and in the middle of the night, I went to his refrigerator, took off all my clothes, got a bunch to eat, went back to bed.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Next
minute.
morning, I got up, my clothes are all folded up on the. Oh my God. That Brett's wife was very understanding. Yeah.
No, I
But
can
yeah,
probably
and
trust
Brett,
you.
when he would come, and we lived in Titusville, Florida. Brett would stay down there, and I tell that story when we were in Europe one time. We guys had been together for like 50 days straight. You're just tired of seeing the boys, and we were like in Milan, Italy, and I walked for an hour and a half out in the middle of nowhere, some nowhere neighborhood. I'm sitting on a park bench, like this is pretty cool. Brett walks by, my brother. You gotta be kidding me. We talk about that to this day, man. We were out with hours away from everybody else, and we walked into each other in Italy.
Had the same
But
idea.
yeah, I got along good with Brett. I got along good with Ronnie. Hercules, he was a little bit like macho. He was wound a little tight.
Oh, really? So, that's interesting because one of the things I had heard about Herc was like, oh, a good guy. Most guys seem to like him. Did you have
Oh, I
any
liked
issues
him.
with
I
him?
got along with him, but he's one of the guys that you keep an eye on. You know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got we didn't. Him and Doc were good friends, and Doc was one of my best friends.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just always kept my eye on her though. And
Now,
then Garvin, I got along good with Garvin, man.
you had mentioned it earlier. At this time, are you flying around on Garvin's
Yeah,
private plane?
that's where we're flying on the plane. And he's punishing us. You know, we'd go out, we partied all night. It was the Rockers, Sean and Marty, and me and Garvin were on this. They sit like this on the plane. You know, it's smaller than a compact car. It was one engine. You know, four guys. And so Garvin gets up. We got to leave at 7 a.m. We got to leave. You know, okay, Ronnie. You know, 3 o'clock at the hotel. Woo, party. So he goes down and wakes Sean and Marty up. They're asleep. They're still in bed. So he goes, I'll go get Duggan. You know, Duggan will be up. He come to my room. I know he yells and gripes at us all this time. Now we finally get on the plane, right? You're going down the runway. You take off right finally. We go up in the air. And it's like, I finally get up there. He goes, you guys are late on me, huh? Oh, Ronnie, please stop, brother, please. Yeah, you won't be late tomorrow, will you? No, Ronnie, I promise. We'll be up. I'm hearing this little shitty plane, because
Oh no.
Flair and those guys were in a plane crash down in Tampa Bay years ago. It wasn't that long ago for us back then. We were in Ronnie's plane. It was we were jammed in there tight. But it made it nice because a lot of times you'd fly over where you were living in Titusville, and they'd cue the deal. The lights would come on the airport, land, drop me off. Deborah would pick me up. But he quit doing that because we would give him our trans money, which really wasn't probably covering the airfare. It would work good for a while, man. But we were never late again.
Any hesitation to get on a plane that's being operated by one of the boys? Like, I know I'd be a little nervous.
Yeah. Well, back then you didn't think about it. Yeah, you're indestructible. Yeah, my God, ain't nothing going to happen to us. What's the
Jake
weight limit on this thing?
That's where I'd be nervous.
My lawnmower's got a bigger engine. What the hell?
Things like the size of a van, and you're packing all these meatheads on there. Oh man, I'd be nervous.
I wish it was the size of a van, more like a VW Bug.
Oh my gosh,
you were in there tight. Yeah, it was small.
Jake has gone on record as saying that he considers Ronnie one of the best in-ring performers of all time. Would you say that did you ever wrestle Ronnie?
I'm sure I did, but not that I remember. But yeah, it'd be hard to say you haven't wrestled somebody like me and Ronnie that's been around that many years together. Somewhere I'm sure we overlapped somewhere along the road. But I never worked like an angle with him or nothing.
Oh, okay. Now, when Ronnie comes into the WWF, it's kind of a weird situation. It's Ronnie Garvin. He just a couple of years earlier, he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He beat Ric Flair, and now he's kind of like relegated to mid card, and he becomes a referee at one point and whatnot. I don't know. Did you feel like they were getting the most they could out of a guy like Ronnie?
Well, I think when you go up to New York, and especially back then, there was a lot of monsters running around, and that Fist of Stone. Just wasn't the most flashy gimmick. I think it was a swing and a miss. Went up and gave it a shot. But I didn't see him going much higher than he did. Even though I like Ronnie and good guy, but New York, like we talked, we got to have more than just a regular dude. New York, brother. You gotta bring your A game, and it better be a good A game, because that's the best in the world as today. I tell kids that want to move up into the WWE, and I don't know much about AEW, but those guys are the best in the world. Those men and women are the best in the world at what they do, and they're not going to give up their spots. There's only few spots, so to get one of those spots, you got to take the job away from somebody. So you better have your A game.
And I think you said it. It's kind of the land of the giants at that point. And Ronnie Garvin, I'm a huge Ronnie Garvin fan. I love his work. And I've had the pleasure of being around Ronnie a few times. I'm 5'10", and I'm a lot bigger than Ronnie Garvin is. I'm probably about 2 or 3 inches taller.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a huge
back
guy.
Then it was more, like you said, it was a more arena type business than it is now. It's a TV business. Back then we concentrated more on TV was to plug the arena shows. So it'd be Hulk Hogan versus so-and-so at this arena. Now it's just WWE coming to the town. So at the arena shows, you'd have Nikolai Volkov walk by and you go, holy shit, that's a big guy, Or on television, it's hard to judge how big people are.
Yep.
Like Samoa Joe, great talent, but not as big as a lot of people think he was.
And a guy like Jake, like he's always standing by you and Hulk Hogan. So you're like, he's not that big of a guy. Then you meet Jake, and it's like, wow, he's like so
but
tall.
you got to meet Jake without his shoes on.
So he's got lifts like Burt
Well,
Reynolds.
I wouldn't call him lifts, more like stilts.
Oh
no,
Jake,
I don't know. Jake's a tall man. Yeah, Jake's a tall guy. Jake's a big. I seem to be shrinking. I'm like, holy smokes! Hey. Hey, you wicked little girl and your dog too. I'm glad you got that reference. You got a little kid too.
Yeah. They'll be
tell
watching.
Piper I said hello too, man.
I certainly will. She brings your name up an awful lot. I was on the phone with you yesterday, and she was like, "Were you talking to Jim?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I love Jim." I'm like, I know.
Wait till she'll meet me. Ah!
She'll
Hand
settle
me the
in.
baby. Hand me the kid. Ah!
See, she's used to you in like tiny doll form. You gave us that
Yeah.
wrestling buddy, so now she'll meet you in person and be like, "Oh wow,
They're not dolls. They're action figures, tough
action figures,
guy.
action
I
figures."
got more
And
stuff to show you now. Here we got this. We got this. You
all
know,
these.
I like
Well,
Jake. Jake shows up with it's like Walmart when he has an appearance. He's got more shit. I said, how much is the toilet paper, brother?
Jake Roberts toilet paper, boy, that would sell.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet that'd be a big seller. I know I'd buy a few rolls.
We love you, Jake. You're not listening to this.
It was
All
good
right.
to see Jake. I saw him up in New York. I don't know if I talked to you since New York.
Oh yeah, yeah. The New York ComicCon.
New York ComicCon, New York City. We stayed right down in Hell's Kitchen. My daughter Celia came up. My daughter Rebecca was working, but it was Hercules, Kevin
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, Hercules, me, Jake, and one of the Power Rangers. And
Ooh,
then
what a squad.
so it was good. It was good to see Cheryl was there, so it was good to see Cheryl. And it was New York City Comic Con. It's crazy, man.
Boy, there's your
I think
Survivor
that'll be
Series.
it's almost too crazy, you know. It's yeah, it's New York City. It was fun to go up to the city though and see all the. It's pretty rough nowadays, but it was a good time. Good to see Jake.
Yeah, boy, there's your Survivor Series team: Hercules, Power Ranger, Jake Roberts, Jim Duggan. What a crew! Here in 1989, you're the last man standing on your team, and you're gonna hold your own until the end. When Sherry, that darn Sherry, she's gonna pull down the top rope and give you the low bridge. That'll dump you to the outside, and it's a count out finish. Afterwards, you're gonna clear the ring with your 2x4 and give the fans something to cheer for. And Jim, you mentioned it earlier in this. You said might lose the battle, or it's might lose the match as long as I win the fight. That's always your thing. And that's a thing that I see routinely throughout your careers. I'm watching all this footage from you. Is like even when you lose, you kind of win because at the end you chase everybody out of the ring with the 2x4.
Right. Yeah.
When did you learn to do that and kind of keep yourself hot that way?
No question. Bruiser Brody told me that straight out. He said, they can beat me every night. Beat me every night you want. I'll get my steam back.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he says, boom, and especially with a 2x4, they don't get out of the ring. Learn to respect the board. That's why when I grab the board, the first time they don't. Then the next time they scoot right quick. But that was my deal. I could, Macho later 1, 2, 3, get beat in the middle of the ring. He gets up, does his shit. I grab my 2x4, chase him around the ring. Look at the Sherry, chase her around the ring, chase the timekeeper, the referee, finish up in the middle of the ring. Oh, USA! Who won that match? Who cares? That guy Duggan's still in the ring chanting USA.
Everybody gets over with a finish like that. Like they get to win the match and move on to do whatever, and you get to stand tall at the end and give the fans what they want.
And a good babyface will do that. Go ahead and win the match and then get out of there and let the heel get his seat back.
I love that. I love the approach. And Jim, I love talking to you about Survivor Series 1989, 35 years ago. Can you believe it? The 4x4s.
Holy smokes, time flies, man. And I guess, 2 are gone and me and Ronnie are still around, which is a shame,
Brett is still here. So it's you, Brett, Ronnie, and Hercules. So
excuse me, Brett. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we're talking about Macho. I got Macho in there, yeah. Didn't mean to write you off, Brett. Yeah, I called Knobs. I said, you're number 3 on the death list. He's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people wanted him dead back in the day.
He
was a troublemaker. But hey, folks, Christmas is coming up. And if you want a really unique gift, you've got to go to cameo.com/Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Boy, oh boy, are you going to get something cool there. And then if you're watching here on YouTube, which of course you are, this is YouTube exclusive. Jim just held up the board there. And Jim, Hacksaw Jim Duggan shop is out there. RealHacksawDuggan.com is out there. Boy, people have got a lot of options when it comes to picking up your merch.
Yeah, and Hacksaw Duggan highlights. I tell you, that's is some great Mid South stuff. Oh.
How do you not want a cameo from this man, folks? Come on, you got to get
Yeah,
it.
you gotta have fun, especially talking to you, Marcus. It's always fun talking to you, buddy. I know you talked to Jake. And I know you talked to Teddy, huh? 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 So
Nothing
good
quite
to visit
replaces.
with you. I'll talk to somebody straight, man. Yeah.
Oh man, nothing replaces talking to Hacksaw, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks doing it again. We'll do a Hacksaw mailbag. Then we're gonna close out the year talking about 1984 in Mid South, 40 years ago. So good stuff coming up here, brother. I can't wait.
All right, my friend. Let's do one, kid. Here we go, baby.
Here we go.
Ho! Go Mustangs!
See you guys next time on the Hacksaw Hour.